There's absolutely nothing more personal than breakfast, especially when it comes to eggs. Scrambled eggs can be made millions of ways, and honestly, there is no right or wrong way to do it. It comes down to how you like to eat it. But today, I thought it'd be fun to try out 2 recipes from some of the best chefs in the world, namely Heston Blumenthal and, of course, Mr. Gordon Ramsay. But before that, I'm gonna show you how I make my humble scrambled eggs. I keep saying scrambled eggs. Let's go. So I'm first going to show you my version because, well, it's the simplest one. All you'll need is 4 eggs, 1 tablespoon of butter, salt, and pepper. I like to mix the eggs already before cooking them, just don't overbeat them. You want to get them to the point where it's just really a nice homogeneous mix. Some people say if you put salt at this point, the eggs will be more watery. I've honestly tried both, adding salt right before cooking, like I'm about to do now, and during the cooking. Honestly, the difference is very, very hard to notice. Get a 20 centimeter pan out on high heat, add in your butter. Once most of it is melted and you have some nice bubbles, place in your egg and with a rubber spatula, start mixing this around, like if you were making a French omelet. You want to make sure to only do this until you barely start seeing the bottom of the pan. At this point, you can start pulling your eggs to one side and letting the uncooked side, top parts of the egg, move along and get cooked on the now empty side of the pan. Does that make sense? It was very hard to explain. Do this until you are happy with the doneness. I enjoy mine quite runny. Large curds, still nice and wet, which I really like. I don't like when it's too kind of mixed together. I like those layers of eggs, those large folds. Makes a huge difference for me. Simple, but gets the job done.
Take it off the heat, go back to the heat, take it off the heat.
Watching Gordon Ramsay make scrambled eggs stresses me out, but also motivates me to make them. For his recipe, you'll need good quality butter, crème fraîche, 4 eggs, salt, pepper, and a strong forearm. He recommends breaking the eggs straight into a small pot, adding your butter, turning on the fire to high, and then you start mixing. Things will go from soupy to gravy-like in about 2 to 3 minutes, and at this point you can start putting it off and on the fire while continuously mixing. Once the eggs start setting a little bit and getting thicker, you can start revealing the bottom of the pot. You're almost done. You're just looking to get it slightly thicker at this point. Once you're happy with the thickness, add in your crème fraîche, about 1 tablespoon. This will bring down the temperature of the mix and slow down the cooking. You can take it off the fire and still keep mixing it. The residual heat will thicken your eggs further. Season with salt, pepper, and throw in your chives right before serving. Remind me to buy a new nonstick or stainless steel pot because this one has seen better days. What a mess. Sorry, with these things I can't really reset the cameras because I don't have time because these are so time sensitive. So this is Gordon Ramsay's scrambled eggs. So the idea here is you work it kind of like a risotto, continuous stirring. And just when it comes together like this, it's basically ready. Take it all out of the pot. So it's still really curdy, but it's really fluffy. I don't know, texture-wise, it's like tiny little specks of eggs, if that makes sense, versus kind of like the large folds that I like. Let's try this out of the pan straight. Gordon. That's actually pretty tasty. I'm maybe not a fan of the texture, but the flavor, well, it's because there's more butter there than anything else, and more crème fraîche, but that flavor is really good. So I gotta give it to him. That's a pretty decent scrambled eggs. It takes a while, takes a lot of this, but it's pretty good. Ugh. Sometimes I like to come outside to clear the mind a little bit. So before we proceed and I show you Heston's very famous recipe, I just want to thank the sponsors of this video, Skillshare. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll see that I've been working with them for a very long time, and that's because I feel like they do really offer membership with meaning. If you haven't heard about Skillshare yet, it's an online learning community where you can take literally thousands of classes, whatever your passions are, from photography to videography, editing to minimalism and cleaning up your house. They have absolutely everything. 2020 has been an extremely tough year for all of us, and 2021 is not looking any better, so it's really important to invest in yourself and to work on yourself. And I've always been a huge fan of continuing education because it allows you to get lost in creativity, really pursue your passions, and maybe eventually make something out of them. Funnily enough, I've been spending a lot of time at home, like I'm sure a lot of people out there, and you'd think it would give us more time, but I feel like I've been short on time just because there's just so much to do. So it's really important to organize your days properly. I've been taking a class by Ali Abdaal, which is basically all about mastering productivity. I mean, it's helped tons, because he actually gives you tips and techniques for real life situations like we're all living now in terms of how to make your days more efficient. Skillshare is also incredibly affordable if you compare it to face-to-face classes. If you get the annual subscription, you're looking at only less than $10 a month, which is a pretty good deal. So the first 1,000 of you who actually click the link in the description below will get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So do that now, and let's go see how Heston makes his scrambled egg. It's really good.
So I think if you have a look, they're just getting these lovely little kind of curds.
Not going to lie, Heston's is a little intense. You'll need 20 grams of butter, 20 grams of milk, and 20 grams of double cream, 5 eggs, sherry vinegar, extra butter for our beurre noisette, salt, and pepper. We're gonna be doing this in a glass bowl over a boiling pot of water. So have a kitchen towel next to you so you don't burn yourself. It also helps to make sure that the bowl where the water is escaping is not facing you so you don't get too burnt, because it does get quite hot to handle at some point. Place all your ingredients in the glass bowl, season it with salt, and start mixing. You don't need to be as aggressive as Gordon's recipe, but you'll need to continuously mix this for about 15 to 20 minutes. You heard that right, 20 minutes to make scrambled eggs. That's it. Mix, 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 and then eventually it'll become like a thick cream and slowly transition to small curds. So while that's happening, you'll need to brown your butter. Add some cubed unsalted butter into a small hot pan. Bring down that heat to low, let it bubble, and wait for it to get slightly brown. Take it off the fire once that happens very quickly, because it can go from brown to black super fast. You can strain this if you want, but honestly, I don't mind the brown particles. I think they're actually quite flavorful. Okay, Heston, what you got, buddy? So this definitely has like some bounce to it. Really fluffy. It just feels like it has some spring, some serious spring. Let's give it a try straight from the bowl again. I mean, flavor-wise, that's good. I'm still put off by the texture. I don't know, for me it's too scrambled, if that makes sense. Okay, let's try it with the beurre noisette and a little bit of sherry vinegar. So I think his thought process here is the beurre noisette will just give us just a different level of flavor. And then he recommends putting a little bit of sherry vinegar, just because everything in there is so rich. The sherry vinegar hopefully livens everything up. Just a couple of drops. Wow. Okay, sherry vinegar and the burnt butter, it does bring it to a whole new level. That is delicious. We've tried all 3. Before I drop them, I'm gonna put them back down. Okay, to be very honest, I feel like Heston's probably had first name basis. Hey Heston, what's up? Peace, big fan. I feel like his had the best flavor. It was the most interesting. It's something I feel like I would eat in a restaurant. It has layers and texture, very Heston, very precise. But it took too long to make. It's definitely not something I would make at home. There's too many things to clean now. I'm getting anxiety thinking about it because everything behind me is quite messy, and it's dinner time. And then we have Gordon Ramsay's, which was flavorful, really good, texturally similar to Heston's, but Heston's had better texture because I think you cook it a little longer, so it's fluffier, kind of like bouncier. And I'm not a fan of extremely scrambled eggs, so if you're gonna have really scrambled eggs, I would go Heston's way because it has more interesting flavors. And finally mine, the simplest one to do, really simple. I like big folds, I like layers of big folds. Yeah, would I do all of them again? Probably not. I'd probably just stick to mine.